Hey everybody, welcome to episode number 23 of the Game Audio Vlog. Today we're going to be doing things a little bit differently. I wanted to show you in a little bit more detail how things work in Wwise, making some basic sound design as we have been doing for 2D games. We're going to continue working through our 2D space shooter Into the Space, and I wanted to walk you through ship explosions and how the random containers work and stop and start events, and just not even so much more complicated than what we've already done, but just a little bit. And I normally don't sit here and show you click by click things in Wwise, but I just wanted to go ahead and record my screen and show you in a little bit more detail here. So to make the enemy explosion sounds, I put a bunch of different sounds together. Again, actually, the reason I'm not going to show you how I did it is because I don't actually think that I have the original working file saved. I think I generally make one working file as I'm doing everything and either make backups of it or save it along the way or whatever, but I could not find where I was putting together my sounds, so I just have the finished sounds, and that's all I needed for this demo anyway. So I'm not going to show you how I made them, but I will show you exactly what they sound like and how it works. So here in my actor mixer hierarchy in Wwise, I've got the enemy ship folder just for organization, and then this is a random container. If you don't know about Wwise or you haven't played with it before or haven't played with any audio middleware before, this random container in Wwise essentially plays a random one of these three events. So I have ship explode 1, 2, and 3, which I'll play for you real quick. That's one, but I also have some randomization on the pitch, so it sounds like, right? And then ship explode 2. So, and that, and ship explode 3. Cool. So, essentially what happens is when the event is called that then calls this random container, the random container is going to pick randomly either ship explode 1, 2, or 3. So the way that these work, again, is you right click, you do a new child, and you can have a sound effect, you can have containers within containers, however you want. There's switch container, random container, sequence container, blend, etc., etc. We're just talking about the random, and that's how the random works. It just picks one of these at random completely. If you don't have a container and you just have a sound like each one of these are, then there is no container to randomly select. It's just the sound. So once you've gone through and made some of these sounds, like I have the bit crushed versus the explosions there, you want to go ahead and make an event. So in this case, my event is enemy destroyed. You only need one of these in this case for the Into the Space project, because all of the ships can be destroyed exactly the same. So you'll want to double click there on your event, and then you have a play event for enemy explode is my object. Again, that is calling the enemy explode object, which is that guy right there. So you go back to the events, and then I have also, you have your enemy engine start and stop, which is essentially the exact same as your player engine start and stop here. So when the player gets destroyed, you want that engine sound to stop. It's the same thing with these guys. So this is high, mid, and then enemy engine. That was just, for me, high was the fast moving ships, mid was the medium moving ships, and enemy engine without anything was the slow moving ships. If you're doing this in a professional environment, I would highly suggest you name them a little bit more clearly, just in case you're working on a team or you need something that somebody else is going to look at the name other than you and has to decode it, or you're going to come back to it way later and you don't know what you're working on. Of course, you want things to be named very clear. So in these events, okay, we start with enemy destroyed, which plays enemy explode. Nothing's crazy here. I've already mixed this so you can see the voice volume has changed. Enemy high engine high start has a similar start event to our player start event. It's just, it starts the enemy engine. We'll get to that at some point later. And then the stop event is a stop of the enemy engine. It's like a little bit too straightforward. So the play events play, the stop events stop, but you actually need the events to call these things to make it happen. So then you want to go into your sound banks, which again, I have my notes on the keyboard, so F7 did not work out the way that I wanted it to. Anyway, I've shown you before how the sound banks work and how to actually put a sound in a sound bank and generate it. I'm not sure exactly why my sound bank hotkey isn't working the way that I want it to, but you're going to want to generate the sound bank and then save Wwise and then get into Unity. I'm going to flip over to what I normally do now with the PowerPoint presentation and then show you the rest in Unity. Cool, so here we are back in normal PowerPoint style, just so I can show you some bigger, more clear pictures. When you get back in Unity, the way that you put these explosion sounds in and you make everything work is you go to your prefabs at the bottom of the screen like we've normally been doing. In this case, I have selected enemy blue. This is exactly the same across enemy blue, enemy green, and enemy red. So once you do it once, repeat the process and it'll work for the rest of them. When you select, you're going to see your inspector on the right-hand side of the screen. Then I've scrolled all the way to the bottom here. You can see AK event and AK event at the very bottom. The start is the enemy engine start event, which is very similar to the player engine start event. We will actually be making this and put it in a little bit later. And then that actually starts on your trigger of start, trigger on start, as you can see there. And then trigger on destroy is enemy engine stop. That cuts your engine. Those are your two events, enemy engine start, enemy engine stop. And then you'll have those events. The way that I did it was start and stop per engine, per ship, essentially. So you can actually do the destroyed sound, not the trigger on destroy, but I'm talking about the actual explosion itself. You can do it two ways, as far as I can follow in my brain. I'm not sure if I did it the second way that I'm going to show you because the first way didn't work or what. But in theory, you should be able to do two events that trigger on destroy. Your first one would be enemy engine stop. Your second would be enemy engine explosion or enemy explosion. Whatever I think we called it enemy explosion or enemy destroyed. Whatever the sound for your explosion is, whatever the event for that is, you should be able to do both of those as trigger on destroy. And then that should be done. It should be good to go. If that for some reason doesn't work, this is how I actually made it work in the game. So I went into the script of the enemy blue ship itself and the enemy green ship and the enemy red ship. The code is slightly different. What you're looking at here is the enemy blue ship. I'll go back. If you see what's selected in blue there about midway up the screen, it says enemy blue _ script. If you double click on that, then you'll get the script to actually come up and you can code in C#. So what you're looking for is the note that says check the health if less or equal to 0. And then you'll see your if statement if health is less than or equal to 0. So if the enemy's health is 0 or below 0, then all of this code within the braces there will actually happen. So an explosion event instantiates, that's the actual sparks of the explosion. Your score value will be changed. Then here you have AK sound engine .post event enemy destroyed game object. That is our sound code. So AK sound engine calls with the Wwise sound engine. Post event is posting an event to the actual game itself. Enemy destroyed in quotes is my event within Wwise. It's the name of my event. And then I want it called on game object. In this case, game object, lowercase game, then object with the O capitalized, is the enemy ship itself. So since this is the blue ship script, it's going to be called on the blue ship. If it's the red ship script, it's going to be called on the red ship. But it's the exact same code every time. If I were to go back to the green ship script or the red ship script, I would code this literally letter for letter the exact same way. AK sound engine .post event enemy destroyed game object within the exact same place in the if statement. So it doesn't matter where it comes in the if statement. It could go below blue count minus. It could go, above everything else. I just saw fit to put it right in the middle and above destroy game object, because once you actually destroy the game object itself, you can't refer to it. So do put it above destroy game object, because then Unity is going to release that code from memory and you're not going to be able to call the sound event anymore. So go ahead and test it. Make sure that it works for you, and then once it does, you're done. It's that simple. So that's destroying enemies and making the sounds for them and giving you a little bit of sample for what that sounds like. Hope you liked the little bit of different click-through today. Normally I don't click through. I don't love to do that, but we'll see how that goes and if it went any smoother than normal. So have a good day. I'll be back tomorrow. We're actually going to cut doing the 2D sound design just for a day because I had a topic I wanted to rant on. So Tomorrow's probably going to be a little bit longer of a vlog, and then Friday we'll obviously be talking about somebody other than me. So Monday we're going to come back and then do some more sound design for a 2D game featuring Wise and Unity. Hope you are having a great first week of 2016, and I will catch you soon.